Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Screamin'. Welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and Lightfall Season of the Witch intel. Sorry it's been a few days since the last video I uploaded, but I've actually been very busy trying to complete the contest mode for the Crotas and raid. So far, a little bit unsuccessful. Slightly lower progress than I would have hoped for, but I've still picked up a few tips and tricks along the way that I think are going to help a lot more people, especially because contest mode will be ending very shortly, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more people actually jumping into the raid for the very first time. But if you are somebody who's either trying to complete the contest mode of Crota, or you're planning on jumping in after contest mode is over and you want to impress either your pickup group or your friends, this is the video for you, because in today's video, we're going to be talking about the YUT encounter, which, in my opinion, is probably one of the most annoying encounters because everything needs to be done in a very organized time frame. I'll take you through several steps of how this encounter works, but also the biggest thing, a glitch that will allow you to really bypass quite a bit of the beginning of the encounter and sort of go straight to the first damage phase. If you enjoy this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on the bell, the post notifications, so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 Lightfall content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. Remember, any of those things also enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel, and we do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. We're also doing another one when we reach 1,000 followers on Instagram. And when we reach 100,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, we'll be giving away an Xbox Series X. Shout out to the pickup crew here. Everybody in this group didn't know each other before we actually started doing it, but they were all very supportive and very helpful and gave me a few tips along the way. So shout out to Mark the Tank, Dark Rose, Laurie, Blue, and Dark Wolf. 2 Darks in one party, and we still managed to keep all the communication fairly straightforward and fairly organized. Another big shout out to my buddy Lord Sinister for helping me as always. He wasn't in this particular clip, but he's a big help, and we wouldn't have gotten to this part, or I wouldn't have gotten to this part if it wasn't for him and my raid, my clan group, Iron Lords. Everybody over there, thank you all so much. But now on to the actual video. So the very first thing we're going to be covering is a glitch. Now this is probably going to be patched at some point, though I can't imagine it being patched before next Tuesday. Maybe never. This might just become the strategy for this particular encounter. It's very easy to do. You can do it probably easiest on a hunter or on a warlock with heat rising. Definitely the easiest on a warlock with heat rising. Titans might have a little bit of trouble, but you could probably teach any member of your fire team how to do this if you don't know, if they don't know, and you don't or aren't playing on a warlock at the time. So long as you have a warlock on your fire team, you should be okay. So here's the glitch. When you start the encounter, normally, of course, as the encounter goes, you'll have to gather the chalice and then trade it off so that everybody can become enlightened. This is actually a way that you can become enlightened before the encounter even starts. Now, you might have seen this particular glitch somewhere else, or you might have seen ones like this in the past, because for some reason Destiny floors are just leaky, and quite often you can actually either acquire an item or, in this case, acquire a relic through the floor. So as you saw me do, I kind of just walked up slowly. The encounter has not started yet. It won't really start unless you go just a little bit further forward. And I kind of lined up with a particular rock that was on the ground. And I can show you that just one more time. That rock is where you kind of want to stand, and then you just want to go straight up. The chalice will be right above you, and you'll see the prompt in order to scan it as you reach the ceiling. I always sort of bumped against the ceiling. That was usually when I saw it, but you don't need to necessarily. So even hunters who maybe just have a high jump on with stompies, you should be okay. You just kind of have to be ready for it. You don't have quite as much time. So as you can see, I sort of line up with this rock you see right here on the left. I almost put my foot right near it. And then just straight up, and it's important, once you acquire it, don't go forward. Just go straight back. You can even strafe directly back. If you go forward, you might start the encounter a little bit. And though you can still do this trick, once the encounter is started, it will actually not work out. You will get the debuff early, and your raid team will wipe. If you do it before the encounter starts, you'll essentially just be able to go right to the shriekers, and then once the shriekers are dead, if you know where the wizards are, you can go right to them, kill them. Everybody on your fire team will have the ability to go through the wizard doors in order to kill them, so you don't have to worry about having 3 specific people, or you'll have at least 5. The last person will just deposit after they become enlightened, or right before, as we sort of go up and start the encounter. So you'll have 5 people enlightened at the very beginning of the encounter, enough to put you through the first encounter with ease, and you won't have to, of course, enlighten more as you get to second and third damage phase, where you'll have 4 and then 5 wizards. Hopefully you don't have to go to third damage phase, but in any case, you'll have less people that you'll have to enlighten on every single run. So once you grab the chalice, just come back here, wait till you have the enlightened buff, swap it off on all your teammates, and then once you're on the very last member of your teammate, which I would recommend the person who's running div on your fire team, because divinity is really the best strategy in order to kill your YUT at the moment. We were using divinity, rocket launchers, divinity, thunderlord. That was fairly good combination. We also saw some people using linear fusion rifles, which were also pretty cool, or did a specific amount of damage, but it kind of seemed like whatever you felt comfortable with, all of those 3 options were decent, because YUT does move around quite a bit, so damage numbers would fluctuate based on whether or not she stayed still or whether or not she moved a lot more. So if it was moving around a lot more, we'd usually see higher damage numbers. With the Thunderlords, if they were more stationary, we'd see higher damage numbers, usually with the rockets, but linear is sort of in between. So make sure everybody has the buff. The last person, potentially the person who's running divinity, will take the buff, and as soon as they acquire it, you don't actually need to wait for them to become enlightened. They can just run up to that first deposit, which is at the ground floor right as you enter the actual boss room, if you're looking at where Crota would spawn. Deposit it, and then run up, kill the shriekers, and then once the shriekers are dead, just start looking for the wizards. Everybody else can actually go up on top, that's the 3rd level of the encounter, and just sort of wait. That's what our fire team ended up doing. We didn't really do it, I think, during this run. I think it was Laurie was actually the person who suggested that strategy. So another big shout out to him. Probably saying his name incorrectly, but hopefully he knows who he is or who I'm referring to. So once we would kill the shriekers, somebody would start looking for the wizards, and we'd just pop up to the 3rd level where we didn't have to worry about ads until it was ready to do damage, and then we'd jump back down to the 2nd level. Divinity would throw up a well, and we'd just go to town on the boss. A couple of other little tricks that might escape some people, certainly very nuanced ones, and though I believe Bungie probably put these in so that people actually would figure out the mechanic and use it, it's not very well done in typical Bungie fashion, as a lot of the visual, I think, prompts in Destiny are always something that are left a little wanting. I personally hate all the prompts popping up on the left side of the screen. I would love all damage prompts or all enlightened prompts or whatever to really actually be on the top middle of the screen. I think that would help a lot of people in bold letters, or at least in something that's not white, because once you have a lot of visual artifacts on the screen, you really can't see anything on the left. Such is the case with the way you actually find the wizards. Now, a lot of people were using the bow, Le Monarch, to actually see through walls. You can actually see through the ceiling of this room too, so you can see if there's 2 shriekers above you or a wizard above you from this room in particular. Certainly once you get up to floor 3, you can actually all see them through the walls. You might even be able to see it through the door. But unfortunately, in some places, the wizards are behind the central pillar, so you can't see anything. And of course, the shriekers are always there. So what do you do if you're not using Le Monarch? Because obviously that's not the intended method. Somewhat of a, as I said, nuanced way of doing that, though I'm sure it was what Bungie wanted, is that, of course, shriekers, interestingly enough, do not appear as actual enemies. They appear as vehicles. So if you go near any one of the shrieker or potential wizard rooms, and you see a giant red dot in that room, that means there's a shrieker in that room, and thereby no wizard in that room. If you don't see a shrieker in that room, especially for the first damage phase, there's definitely a wizard in that room. Now, if you're on one of the far sides, that is the side where Crota would spawn, either on the left or the right, and you're not on the top. On the top 3, it's very easy. You just kind of go near where the room you would be entering in 4 is, right near where any of the potential wizard rooms are. And if you see that red dot, you can just move on to the other one. But on the opposite side, of course, there's a top floor and a bottom floor. You don't have much time, obviously, because boomers are shooting at you. So when you go to any one of those rooms, if you see 2 red dots, that means that both floors have shriekers on them, and that's not a side with a wizard. But if you go over and you see 1 red dot, that means that there is at least 1 floor with a wizard. So how do you know which floor the wizard's on? If you look closely at the red dot, and I mean you really have to look closely, it's very hard to do, especially when you're being shot at by several different levels of ads. Boomers are really annoying when you're trying to do this. You'll see a black triangle in the middle of the red dot. Now, if the black triangle is facing down, that means that the shrieker is on the bottom floor. If the black arrow is facing up, it means the shrieker is on the top floor. So if the shrieker's on the top floor, that means that there is a wizard on the bottom, and vice versa. Now again, not the easiest mechanic to figure out, certainly not one that I knew for a long time. Somebody had to explain it to me a few times before I actually understood or could even see what they were talking about. This is where we would come in order to wait for damage phase while people killed the wizards. But it is something to know, and though I would still recommend somebody on your fire team bring Le Monarch, this is at least a way where once you get up to the top, so once you're on either side and you kill your shriekers and then you head up to floor 3, anybody, at least in that area, could just run up to the sides, check, see if there's a dot, and save your Le Monarch guy a little bit of running around. If there's nothing up top, then I would suggest whoever you're planning on doing the wizards for that particular round, just run to one of the sides, whatever side that they've come in on, and just get ready. Of course, if there's nothing over there, if there's no wizards, you see 2 red dots for 2 shriekers, then just head to the other side. But you'll be a little bit ahead of the curve on decision making, which is very important for this particular encounter because it is, like I said earlier, one of the most annoying when it comes to the timing. Also, a big shout out to Iron Man. He was also in this party for quite a while and gave us a good effort. Also, Night Night. These are members of my raiding clan. Great guys. Really appreciate them jumping in late at night to try to help me out, even if we were unsuccessful. And that is going to conclude all the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 Lightfall content like this. You can also follow me, as I said, on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. Remember, any of those things enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel. And if you've watched till this point in the video, you can leave a hashtag CROTA'S End, or a hashtag Season of the Witch, or a hashtag Lightfall in the comment section down below. I'll give you another entry into the next giveaway for this video. And once more, I'm Wilhelm Scream. Thanks so much for watching, as always, and of course, we will see you next time. Little